Good evening, race fans, and happy holidays to you as we get ready to see the big man come down the chimney this weekend. But until then, we have to get through Bristol, and someone is looking for a great present here tonight at top of the building in turns 1 and 2. And none other than Upstate Al here with you to bring you tonight's racing action of the Sunoco Race Fuels Super Late Model Invitational for the American Sim Racing Club. We have 2 heat races on tap along with tonight's main event. And we couldn't do it without all the sponsors of the Sunoco Race Fuels Invitational here for the American Sim Racing Club. We want to thank Sunoco for being the presenting sponsor this season. Tallarico's Boardwalk Subs, Jersey-style soup, subs, and salads serving West Michigan. Brand new sponsor to the series, Premier Racing Setups. We would like to welcome Premier Racing Setups here tonight, and they are doing some pretty cool stuff with a free setup pack to both winners and hard luck driver of the future race. So we'll see who's going to pick up that, and none other than LaPlante Racing Products, the Triple Crown Series title sponsor. Those are our sponsors here that bring us all tonight to racing action. And just like that, we are ready to go racing in heat race number 1. We're just going to see Andrew Payne knocking the rust off the old 93. He puts it onto the provisional pole in qualifying. Outside of him will be the number 25. That is Nick Fleury. Fleury in car number 25. Rolling off on the inside of row number 2 out of Newfoundland, this is the number 18, the Rowdy Energy Drink sponsored car. This is Devin McDonald. Scott Negis in car number 55 will roll off to the outside of him. Andrew Hardings and Craig Tilley will make up row number 3. Row number 4, Braden Cook and Chris Roma. His shotgun on the field, the Papa himself, Eric Hahn, in the underfunded Motorworks. Car number 711. And we are looking forward to some great racing here this evening. We want to thank you all for tuning on in here to the Turn 3 Racing Network, where it is heat race number 1. Going to be up on the racetrack, going to be able to go green flag racing here very shortly in what is going to be a very fast racetrack. I saw during practice, guys were loose off of turn number 4. We're going to find out who it's going to be. The unsponsored 93 of Andrew Payne will lead us into the Sunoco restart zone. And he will jump on the gas pedal, and we are underway for the first time under green flag conditions here this evening at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Payne jumping out to the early race lead. Everybody's single file. Craig Tilley kissing the outside concrete. Here comes Harding in that number 45 automobile. He's trying to make a run at him. Down to the inside, that is the battle for the 5th spot. Right there behind them is Braden Cook in the 49. Cook unable to make the tow to 5 flags 1 week ago. We're glad to see Cook out here in the 49. Right behind him, Chris Roma with new colors on that number 83. He's trying to make a move up towards the front, but it's all Andrew Payne up on the front of this one, showing away. One car loose, hang on to it, Papa Hahn. He got a little sideways back there. Here comes Chris Roma underneath Braden Cook. Things tightening up, though, up at the front of this one as they work down here. Nick Fleury starting to feel the pressure from the 55 of Negis. He's just trying to make a move on him right now. You're trying to get some heat in these tires. The line will start to move around. I assume by the end of this heat race and even in tonight's feature, they will be up atop of the race board. We see Andrew Hardings dancing up to that upper groove, trying to make something happen, just not quite there yet. Hardings in that number 45. Trying to make something happen. He sits in that 6th spot behind Craig Tilley. So the field working around the racetrack in single file formation, just over 6 minutes to go in our timed heat race, and it is Andrew Payne up on the point of this one. top three cars breaking away from the remainder of the field. Devin McDonald trying there as well. As now Chris Roma takes a look to the inside. Can't do anything with it that time. 83 Aroma trying to find a way around Hardings in that number 45. Braden Cook and Eric Hahn rounding out your running order. Hahn got to the backside of Cook trying to make something happen up the racetrack. Now down to the inside. Hahn with that prototype 711 trying to make a move on the 49 of Braden Cook. Can't do anything with him just yet. Nick Fleury, though, looking out the back at Scott Negis. Sitting there trying to make something happen. He's starting to lose ground to the Ford Mustang of Andrew Payne. Harding's working that upper groove that opens the inside lane for Romo, but the momentum on the outside carrying the 45, and the drivers in heat race number 2 are seeing this and trying to figure out which lane that they're going to want to try to be in. And everybody's studying right now as the battle for the 6th spot rages on. You see the 45 has it, Roma all over the back side of him. And they chase the number 18 of McDonald and the 50 of Tully right there in front of them. And very, very fast laps here this evening. Let's take a look at the best laps this race. A 14.3. Everybody within a tenth of each other for the best time and last time by. You can see there. Oh, hang on to it. Roma and Hardings make a little bit of contact to slide for life. Going to give Hardings a little bit of space, but Andrew Payne up on the front of this one, showing the way. So Payne right now the best car on the racetrack with a 14.9 last time by over Fleury. Needs just Eric Hahn going to make a pass. He works the inside around Cook. Cook with a momentum on the outside. They come off of turn number 4, door to door. One car loose. Hang on to her. Hahn has to back out of her. Regain composure here. Let's try to make another one. If you're watching out there, we thank you for tuning on in here tonight to the Turn 3 Racing Network's presentation of the American Sim Racing Club's Super Late Model Invitational presented by Sunoco. As Eric Hahn Andrew Payne, excuse me, showing the way in the black 93. Came in tonight, so he's going to knock the rest. Hadn't ran the Super Late Model in some time. I think the rust fell off fairly quick. He's out on the front of this one. See him working that steering wheel. Just under 2 minutes to go, though. Andrew Payne showing the way over Fleury, who's some 1.8 seconds back. So Nick Fleury out there in that number 2 spot. Started there, top 2, not moving around too much. Chris Roma now with a look to the inside with the Roma Brother Racings. Entry, oh, contact, hang on to it, Chris. Zalarico yellow flag going to come out for the first time this evening after hard contact with the inside wall. Eric Hahn is around, and his car is, well, looks like a modified. Missing the left front fender. Some hard contact there for the 711 of Eric Hahn. And that was the reason for the yellow flag. Let's take a look back here and see what happened. Works to the corner. Oh, and just lost the handle of it. And, oh, hard contact to the inside retaining wall. And then up here, this was the battle that we were watching. You saw it side by side. Roma to the inside. They came up off the corner and just slight contact right there, and that just sent the 83 into the inside retaining wall, but the yellow flag was already out at that point. So we come back to live pictures, and Eric Hahn is on the pit road, but this one most likely going to end underneath the yellow flag and what was a good stretch here. And it is going to be the 93 of Andrew Payne picking up the win. Nick Flory will come home in that number 2 spot. Nijis, McDonald, Tully, Hardings, Cook, and Roma, I do believe, is how it will finish here. So they're going to get the green and checkered, I believe, here all together. Yellow, and I believe that is going to do it. So heat race number 2 rolling out onto the grid. This is what your starting lineup will look like here for heat race number 2. Your starting lineup, Brett the Jet Hahn will roll off on the inside of row number 1. Outside of him, the number 99 of Caleb Moljeski. Moljeski in car number 99. Tim Rogers in the Rogers cars, number 48, will roll off in spot number 3. And outside of him, the number 951 of Brian Oldasson. Oldasson will roll off in spot number 4. Noah Boucher in car number 16 will roll off 5th. Outside of him, Justin Callahan in car number 75. Chuck Darling and Zach Coyer will make up row number 4. And shotgun on the field, car number 2, that is John DeMeester. So 9 cars here in heat race number 2 rolling out onto the racetrack. And what should be a good one here. So we will see what will take place in heat race number 2. As we get ready to go racing. All right. If you're watching, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Let these drivers know you appreciate their efforts as they get right off of turn number 4. Green flag is up, and we are underway for the first time in heat race number 2. And Brett Hahn quickly jumping out to the race lead. Rogers in that number 48 runs in car in that second spot. You got to wonder what these drivers learned during heat race number 1 as they had to sit on the sidelines and watch it. Moljeski in spot number 3 in that number 99. He's being hounded by Boucher. And Noah Boucher in that number 16 car has had some speed. Has not had Lady Luck on his side. In the LeBlanc Racing Products car number 16. Brian Wildasson right there behind him. Chuck Darling, and here comes J.D. Callahan. In that 75, he's got the Integrities, number 13 of Zach Coyer. Trying to roll around him. And John DeMeester in car number 2 rolling in spot number 9. But up front, it is Tim Rogers trying to find a way around the 71. Rogers, the driver out of Binghamton, New York, making a long tow here to Bristol. You see Boucher taking a look down to the inside of Mojeski. Can he make something happen? Cannot that time. And these drivers all the way around the racetrack, some low, some high, and some in the middle. We're seeing all the different lines here in heat race number 2. We saw mainly the bottom dominant in heat race number 1. So these drivers really starting to feel what this track is going to do. And it was white as could be when we got here. You know, you can see the darker color in the corners with the Hoosier Racing rubber getting laid into it. You can see Brett Hahn trying to dust the outside of the racetrack off. And now Boucher will go up there in turns 3 and 4. And a very fast lap around here. So we'll see what happens. Boucher trying to work that magic. Closing in on the back side of Mojeski for 3rd. Brett Hahn, though, up on the front of this one. Top 4 cars within a second. Brian Wildassin a little bit deeper back off of them in spot number 5. He's got Chuck Darling that's battling him, and that's a good battle on the racetrack. Darling down low, Wildassin to the outside that time. Hang on to it, Darling. Darling got a little bit loose that time off of turn number 2. Gathers it back in, but that has allowed Callahan and Coyer to join this battle. This is the battle for 5th. A good battle here with Darling taking a bit down to the inside now. Wildassin, can he make anything happen? Rolls the bottom neck at the time, good, but it'll be Wildassin too strong with the momentum on the outside. And I really do think come feature time, when we get into a long run, you're going to want to make that outside run. Now, the question is, when is the right time to get to go to the outside and start rolling it? That's going to be the question. We saw Andrew Payne really good around the bottom side of the racetrack, and Brett Hahn now, he's rolling the bottom and the top side, really working around, trying to figure out what that 71 is going to like come feature time. And right now, Brett Hahn leads it by just under a half second over Rogers. Rogers, though, starting to feel the pressure from the 99 of Mojeski. And Mojeski working that middle and upper lane. Gets a good run on Rogers. Rogers throws the block. He'll go in high. That allows Mojeski down to the inside. And Rogers now pulls away from Mojeski. It's a little bit of a yo-yo racing effect here up on the front of this one. And maybe Rogers has found something. Tim Rogers closing in on the back side of that 71. You can start to see the marbles, though, really starting to form up on the outside of the racetrack. And you got to be careful. You do not want to get your right sides in them. That's going to be like racing on ice. That'll put you in the outside retaining fence in a heartbeat. But Tim Rogers has caught the 71 of Hahn with 2:30 left to go here in heat race number 2, our final heat race action of the evening. We watched this battle for the race lead as now Coyer and Callahan swap the spot back and forth, and Coyer has gotten around them. Now coming after the 88 of Chuck Darling. They follow in the same footsteps through turns 3 and 4. The 13 of Coyer trying to make something happen, but catches the outside fence. That'll give him some space. Back to the front, though. Rogers, Mojeski, and Hahn all battling for the top spot. We saw Andrew Payne run away in heat race number 2, and just like that, the Tallarico Boardwalk Subs yellow flag will come out here as Boucher and Darling have come together. You see the front end damage on the Chevy of Darling. Boucher's car as well, heavy front end damage. Let's take a look here and see what happened for those two drivers. Oh, Boucher got loose up on the outside, got in the marbles, and Darling just nowhere to go, and both heavy contact to the inside wall. Got up there, up in the low stuff in the marbles, and around he will go, and oof, just tough break here for those drivers. We come back to some live pictures. The field doubled up behind the pace truck, and it looks like we will go back to racing. This one's going to end underneath the green flag here. Pace truck down and away into the Sunoco restart zone, and Brett Hahn zips on the gas pedal, and we are back underway in what will be a one-lap shootout. Rogers to there. Here comes Wildas on the outside of the 99 of Mojeski. Can he get by him? Rogers down low off of turn number 4. Checkered is out, and it is going to be the 71 of Hahn picking up the win. Rogers will come home second. And just like that, we will head into our pre-race ceremonies here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. And we got the time we want to take. And thank you all for watching the American Sim Racing Club Super Late Model Invitational presented by Sunoco. Whether it's fueling your race car or your race car to work, you gotta stop at Sunoco. Fueling victories around the world, it is Sunoco. You're feeling hungry? Well, so aren't I. Tallarico's Boardwalk Subs, Jersey-style soup, subs, and salads, serving West Michigan and the Turn 3 Racing booth. Premier Racing Setups. And we want to thank Premier Racing Setups for giving away a free setup pack to both the winner and hard luck driver of tonight's feature race. So we'd like to thank them for coming on board. Brand new sponsor for the American Sim Racing Club and LaPlante Racing Products, making sure all these teams are supplied with all the parts that they need to get their cars back together. LaPlante Racing Products. We thank you, the fans, for tuning on in. Without you, there would be no reason to bring you tonight's racing action. And we really do appreciate you tuning on in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for the drivers. That's not for myself or anything like that. It is just for our time. So, with that being said, we're going to take a look here. Tonight's feature event coming at you. And it is going to be a good one here this evening, I do believe. I don't see why there would be no reason for it not to be good. So we'll take a look here and see what's going to take place. Andrew Payne up on the racetrack, taking a spin around the racetrack with him real quick as we get ready to go with tonight's racing action. We want to thank Tanner Tallarico. We know Tanner's not feeling well, but he's the man up in mission control, making sure everything runs smooth here this evening. And boy, has it. This series really putting on a lot of good racings. If you were not with us 1 week ago, we were at the Five Flag Speedway, where Brett the Jet Hahn was able to put it in victory lane. And what does that mean? Well, Brett is going to have to start at the back side of the field here this evening. So he's going to have to come a long ways from the back. He's got some fast competition as we get ready to go here this evening. Let's take a look here at your starting lineup presented by Sunoco, and it's going to be Andrew Payne up on the front row. Brett Hahn will get credit for starting second, but he will have to go tail side for tonight's feature event. Nick Fleury and Tim Rogers will make up row number 2. Row number 3 will be Scott Nugis and Brian Wildassin. Devin McDonald and Caleb Mojeski will start in row number 4. And row number 5 sees the number 50 of Craig Tully on the inside in spot number 9. And outside of him, car number 13, it is Zach Coyer. Starting 11th in the lapped car motorsports, car number 45, this is Andrew Hardings, and his outside out of Virginia. It is the number 75 of Justin Callahan. Here's final starting rows. In star number 7 will be number 49. This is Braden Cook out of Michigan. And outside of him, the number 88 of Chuck Darling. Chris Roma and Noah Boucher will roll off 15th and 16th in your final row. Row number 9, Eric Hahn and John DeMeester. 18 cars strong here tonight for the premier racing setups, Sunoco Race Fuels feature event getting ready to roll off here this evening. And we thank you all for tuning in here this evening. And what is going to be a great, great race. That is for sure. So as the field gets ready to go, we are going to get ready to go as well. And what is going to be one heck of a race. Race fans out there, who you got? Who's it going to be in victory lane here, lifting up the Christmas presents, the holiday spectacular from the high banks at Bristol, getting ready to go green. 18 super late models ready to do battle right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And we thank you for tuning in. Green flag is up, and we are underway. Andrew Payne going to jump out to the early race lead over the 25 of Fleury. Here comes Wildassin to the inside. A little bit deeper in the back. They are stacked up 2 by 2. That was the 75 of Callahan. Callahan working the outside of the racetrack early on in this one. And you got to make the moves, kind of get yourself in the position. And what is going to be a good race here as we watch that battle. Chris Roma in that number 83 trying to make some hay, but here comes the 16 of Boucher. Says, well, boys, you're going to play around on the inside. I'm going to go to the outside. Well, we're going to go almost 3 wide this time through turns 1 and 2. Roma with a good run down the backstretch on the inside. He'll take that spot away as Andrew Payne sets pace up at the front of the field. Already 5 laps in here this evening as Andrew Payne leads it. Right behind him is the 25 of Nick Fleury and Brian Wildassin into that number 3 spot. Drivers were hoping for a long green flag run here this evening. Let that track work in, get moving around. We're going to see multiple lines of racing, I believe, here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. An outside lane will be something that comes in to play for sure. Andrew Harding's there as we got the set 13 of Coyer working underneath Mojeski. That's the battle for 7th. Mojeski up on the outside that time. He'll get the run on the outside. Good clearing him there. Good battle all the way back here as well. Justin Callahan working the outside of Chris Roma. Eric Hahn in the 7-11 is caught win. The 71 of Brett Hahn back here, last week's winner. Back in the 16th spot, started 18th due to winning last week at the Five Flags Speedway. And speaking of the Five Flag Speedway, we are just mere weeks away from the American Sim Racing Club's Snowball Derby. It'll be coming up here is now Devin McDonald trying to make some moves. Let's go on board with him. This is him right there battling. Andrew Payne is your race leader. The black car up in front of this one leading the field. And everybody really working the bottom side of the racetrack currently. No one really venturing to the high side yet. Give it time. Braden Cook able to get the misfire underneath the hood figured out, comes out onto the racetrack, but is some 11 laps down. Back there in spot number 18, so you Braden Cook fans, he is able to get out on the racetrack after diagnosing the issues with his race car. And Andrew Payne showing the way over that 4-car train behind them, being led by Nick Fleury. And what is already closing in on the 1/4 mark of this 100-lap feature event. He's just right there in the 55 as well. His first start of the season with the American Sim Racing Club's Super Late Model Invitational presented by Sunoco. Oh, one car sideways. That was the 75 and the 45. Now Dust. Oh, Chuck Darling, hard contact into the inside wall. And it's going to bring out the Tallarico's Boardwalk Sub. Yellow flag for the first time this evening as Chuck Darling in trouble. Let's take a look back here and see. You saw that right there. He checks up for him. Callahan gets going, and then Hardings and the 75 of Callahan make contact. See Callahan get there, loose one car on the outside wall. That was a 45. They get back going and up and over they go. And just a tough hit for the 88 of Darling. And that'll bring out our first Tallarico's Boardwalk Sub yellow flag of the evening. And Andrew Payne is your race leader up on the point of this one. And then Brett Hahn, last week's winner, making it through as Braden Cook will get the free pass to get on there. So I'm going to say that Chuck Darling probably in the running for the Premier Racing setups Tough Luck Award in no man's land. And I believe Chuck has brought the 88 behind the wall. Extensive damage here this evening, so a tough break for Chuck. Lights out around the racetrack, though. That means only one thing and one thing only. We're going to go back green flag racing next time off of turn number 4. I'm with you, Steve. He cannot catch a break. It has not been his season at all. Steve Hoffman, we miss you out on the racetrack tonight, buddy. We hope you're doing all right, and happy holidays to you. As green flag is back out, Andrew Payne going to jump out onto the gas pedal. Hang on to it. Here comes Tim Rogers, high, wide, and handsome in the RogersCars.com. Chevrolet working the outside of the racetrack, and he is going to steam his way into spot number 3, and he is not done yet. Rogers finding the grip up on the outside, trying to make a move on the 25 of Fleury. Can't do anything with him now. Side by side behind him, Devin McDonald working the outside of that racetrack. He gets to the right rear quarter panel with Wildassen. And Wildassen on the inside. He's going to slide back to spot number 5. Wildassen sliding down the chimney just like Santa's going to. And finds himself back in that 5th spot. Would like to climb a little bit further up. Up behind him, it is a hornet's nest with Mojeski, Coyer, Boucher, and Tully 2x2 off of turn number 4. Boucher with a good run though as the 13 of Coyer had to pedal it a little bit, got a little bit loose on that inside. That allows the number 83 of Chris Roma to work the outside. Roma working around him way up into spot number 9. Right there behind the 18 LaPlante Racing Products entry of Noah Boucher. Boucher, the racer out of New England, working his way up into the 8th spot. He started back in spot 16, and he is the hard charger so far early on in this one here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Things happen in a hurry here at Bristol, and trying to get his way up through is the 83 Aroma, and we're watching him is now Tim Rogers kind of settling into that 3rd spot. He's got Devin McDonald behind him in spot in that number 18 car. Zach Coyer a little bit loose, and yellow flag coming out for the 13 of Zach Coyer. We're going to find out maybe if he had a helping hand or not with our 2nd yellow flag. Coming out here for the 2nd time this evening. Let's take a look back here and see what happened to Zach. He was working on the inside of Chris Roma and the 50 of Tully. Oh, Roma got into the back bumper of him in the corner, and these cars get very light up on that inside. And the yellow flag will come out here for the 13, but luckily for Coyer, not heavy contact with anything other than sliding those tires for life. One driver coming down pit road is the 99 of Mojeski. So Mojeski going to come down pit road to service his race car, as we are underneath the Tallarico's Boardwalk Sub yellow flag for the 2nd time this evening. You can see Mojeski going to raise up that right side and take some tires. These drivers each with an extra set of Mr. Goodfields in the pit road here this evening. And just like that, Braden Cook down back into the single digits. So Andrew Payne, your race leader. Nick Fleury in spot number 2 and at number 25. Tim Rogers is in 4th. Or 3rd. 4th is the 18, Devin McDonald. 5th, Brian Wildassen, rounding out the top 5. Scott Negis in car number 55 is 6th. Noah Boucher is 7th. Craig Tully 8th. Brett Hahn has worked his way up to the 9th spot. Andrew Harding is his 10th. Eric Hahn is 11th. 12th is Zach Coyer, John DeMeester, Caleb Mojeski, and Braden Cook. Out there on the racetrack. Green flag back out here as we are underway. We're going to see who gets that battle for the third spot. Rogers down low. We saw the outside line be very good on that last restart. Devin McDonald's hoping so as he's trying to get rowdy up on the outside of the 48 of Tim Rogers. Brett Hahn working the outside there of Nijis. Hines trying to work around the 16 of Boucher. He's trying to make his way up through the field. So Brett Hahn trying to make it back up here, but Andrew Payne setting sail once again. Payne in the 93, we're calling the Black Knight, trying to steal Christmas. Devin McDonald is in third. Rogers has fallen back to the 5th spot. The 951 of Wildassin up to the 4th spot. Andrew Payne, Nick Fleury, your top two. We're closing in on the halfway point of this 100 lap main contacts. Devin McDonald is third. Wildassin is in the 4th spot. Tim Rogers is 5th. Brett Hahn 6th. 7th spot. Nijis, he's been a tight battle with the 55 with the 16 of Boucher. Boucher trying to get up in front of Craig Tilley. Tilley's going to fill that void very quickly. And he'll hold on to that outside lane. The Tolko number 50 working the outside of Boucher. And he's going to take away that number 8 spot from Boucher. Here comes the 13 of Coyer. Coyer working the outside as well. So that'll knock Boucher back to the 10th spot. Andrew Harding's trying to make the outside, can't quite get there. Harding's will have to slide into the 11th spot. Here comes the 99 of Caleb Mojeski. We saw him on pit road getting 4 fresh tires. You can see him able to hug the inside line around. Working all the way around this racetrack. Good battles. We watched this one. Mojeski going to work up underneath the 16 of Boucher. A little bit of contact there. No harm, no foul. Meanwhile, Brett Hahn continues his march to the front. He works underneath the 48 of Rogers. Off of turn number 2. They are door to door. Then Rogers gets away on that outside line. And right away, the 71 of Hahn back to the outside. Rogers down low, leaves the outside lane open for Brett Hahn. Hahn's going to fill that spot, trying to take that 5th spot away, and he will do so just like that. So Brett Hahn working the extreme high side of the racetrack, and his next victim will be the 951 of Wildassin. Is now Tim Rogers and Craig Tilley are battling it out. And Rogers falling back behind the 13. Here comes the 99 of Mojeski working the outside of the racetrack. Mojeski taking the 8th spot away from Tim Rogers. Now Brett Hahn works the outside. He'll get Byam Hahn into the 4th spot. Brett Hahn putting the afterburners on, the QuickTime number 71. Trying to chase down the race leaders. And as soon as he gets by him, he goes back to the inside. Oh, Wildassin in the outside wall. Off the pace, Brian Wildassin. Looks like he caught the gear once again, but kissed that outside wall, and it really slowed his pace down. He's going to hold on to that 8th spot, but a tough break for the driver who is inside the top 5. Craig Tully in the 5th now, right in front of the 13 of Zach Coyer. Tully with the Roma Brothers Racing Tolco sponsored 50. Up into the 5th spot. He's up 4 spots from his starting position here this evening. As they all give chase to Andrew Payne, who's out there on a Wednesday night driving away. This time by, it'll be 59 in the books, working lap 60, closing in on 40 laps to go as Mojeski using those fresh tires to work his way up through the field. He works underneath the 13 of Zach Coyer. So you can see how much fresher tires do mean, and the guys that are watching this are seeing how much these tires mean. And I guarantee if we get another one of those Tallarico Boardwalk Subs yellow flags, you're going to see a lot of takers, I believe, down on pit road as Mojeski driving from the back of the field up almost inside the top 5 and making it look easy. Mojeski right to the back side now as he goes down the back stretch. Driver out of Rockford, Michigan, trying to make a move on the 50. He'll cut it down to the inside. Can he make it stick this time off the corner? He is still side by side with the 50 at Craig Tully, and the longer we run, the more those tires will kind of even out. Andrew Payne still shows the way, almost 3 seconds up over Fleury, and Fleury and McDonald are having a good battle. But as we watch the battle for the 5th spot, Mojeski is going to take sole possession of that now. So we'll move up here as Devin McDonald giving Nick Fleury all sorts of fits for that number 2 spot. Chuck Darling, the 75 of Justin Callahan, and Chris Roma have all taken their cars behind pit wall this evening. So those 3 drivers are out of the race as the battle for second rages on. You can see it here. You see the time difference, and the gap has really shrunk there between them. And just like that, the Tallarico Boardwalk Sub will come, yellow flag, comes out for the 3rd time this evening. And this one is for the 50 of Craig Tully, bringing out the yellow flag. Let's take a look here and see what happened. Tully and Coyer battling for position, and Tully just going to lose it. In the 13, there's nowhere to go. A quick 180, doesn't hit anything, so that's good for Craig Tully. Let's go on board with him. And around he goes. And that is what brings us out our yellow flag here. We've got a lot of takers coming down pit road. Your race leader of Andrew Payne coming down pit road. And it is a slow, painstaking one. And right now, the driver that did not want to see this happen is right there on the racetrack. The 99 of Caleb Mojeski. might have had the winning strategy had it stayed green to the end, and the rest of the field completely coming down pit road to the attention of their pit crew. And you can see the drivers already down the way. Boucher, maybe a 2-tire stop for the 16 of Boucher. And I'm going to say that it was. Everyone else taking 4. Oh boy. And this is going to get exciting now. Andrew Payne going to come out in spot number 5, and a bunch of drivers in front of him taking 2 tires will be Noah Boucher, Tim Rogers, Devin McDonald, all taking 2 tires on pit road and gaining some track position. And Caleb Mojeski, your current race leader, you gotta wonder who is gonna make the right moves here. Field in 2x2 fast, and Mojeski going to take the outside on this restart, and he will roll into the Sunoco restart zone with 26 laps to go. Mojeski steps on the gas pedal first, and it was Boucher not staying with him, and they are already looking to go 3 wide. Brett Honner on the outside. Oh, Boucher, hang on to it. Hard contact to the inside retaining wall. Going to bring out our 4th Tallarico Boardwalk Subs yellow flag of the evening is the 16 of Boucher. Car all torn apart. The rear bumper cap missing on that Buick. It might be a Cadillac, not a Buick. Either way, let's take a look back here and see. Working the outside here. Just got loose and into the left, that door panel. And around it will go. We'll go on board. There's a hard lick to the inside wall here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. And that'll keep us underneath the yellow flag. Braden Cook, though, going to get the free pass. Go another lap back. Here underneath our 4th yellow flag. That should put him about 8 laps behind. Make it 7 probably. Here with 24 laps to go. Race leader, though, Devin McDonald in that Rowdy Energy Drink Toyota Camry. Up on the front, or I believe that might be a Supra. That's a Camry. Sporty looking, though. Mojeski on the inside. He's got now the 13 of Zach Coyer and Brett Hahn right there in row number 2. Tim Rogers, Andrew Payne in row number 4. Or row 3. Row 4 behind them. Hardings and Fleury into the Sunoco restart zone. And we are underway in the inside lane once again. Not ready to go. And Brett Hahn, can he go back to back? That is what we are going to try to find out here in 21 more laps. The 93 of Andrew Payne doesn't want anything to do with it. As a contact between Hahn and McDonald. No harm, no foul. Here comes the 93 underneath him. More contact. Devin McDonald falling back to spot number 3. Remember, McDonald has those only 2 tires compared to the rest of these guys with 4. Trouble in the back. Coyer's involved. 1 car around the 45 of Harding's. Hard lick for the 951 into the outside retaining wall of Wildassin, and the Tallarico Boardwalk Sub yellow flag waves for the 5th time here this evening. A lot to unpack here as yellow flag came out. Let's go back here and take a look and see what happened up off the corner. Corey got the outside wall. Harding's around, and then Wildassin hard into the outside retaining wall. See him working underneath Mojeski. They come off the corner, and contact there. Maybe a little bit of net code between the 13 and the 45. Let's see, we can watch it one more time. See, Harding's down low. They went 3 wide through the middle. Oh, a little bit of, some net code looking like to bring out the yellow flag. Wildassin hard in the outside retaining wall as well to bring out the yellow flag here for the 5th time this evening. Braden Cook should get the free pass, putting them 6 laps into the rears if he's already gotten it. So leaves them at 7. As Wildassin down on the pit road. Up at the front, though, is a heavyweight ballot. Brett Hahn versus Andrew Payne. Hahn had the start back in spot number 18 after winning 1 week ago at the Five Flags Speedway. Choosing the inside for this restart, and he steps on the gas pedal, and we are underway. Hahn with a good jump over Andrew Payne, who's got to fend off the advances of the 18 of Devin McDonald. McDonald now being challenged by the 48 of Rogers. Rogers going to work around the outside. He'll make the move in the 3rd. All eyes now up on the front of this one. 15 laps to go. As they work around here, all chasing the 71 of Brett the Jet. He's got a fast 93 of Andrew Payne, who has really been the class of the field here. Set fast time in qualifying. Won his heat race and was up to almost a 3-second lead here as McDonald sliding backwards into that 11th spot now. A little bit of action, a little bit deeper back here in the pack here. Boucher, Tully, and the 13 of Coyer all battling it out. And that 16 has got to be a handful to drive without a rear spoiler on it. But Boucher making the best of it. He looks fairly quick. He works underneath the 50 of Craig Tully. Can't make it stick. Catches the apron. Here comes the 13 of Coyer. As there's 10 more laps to go for your race leader. Things starting to tighten up at the front of this one. Andrew Payne trying to find a way around the 71 of Brett Hahn. And these two drivers have duked it out here before in the American Sim Racing Club. Payne with a look to the inside. Hahn wisely will give him the inside, using the momentum on the outside. Hahn still holds on to the race lead. Hahn up the racetrack. Extreme this time, trying to gain a little bit more ground. Can Brett Hahn hold on to it? Andrew Payne draws even to the inside. It's Chevy versus Ford. Brett Hahn up on this one, showing the way over Andrew Payne. The battle for third to go, but we're going to keep the eyes on your race lead. Mirroring each other that time, even itself out as Tim Rogers and Scott Negis battle it out here for third. 5 laps to go. 5 to go for the 71 of Brett Hahn. Andrew Payne pedaling the 93 for all it's worth. Up off the corner, make it 4 laps to go. Andrew Payne stalking his prey, trying to figure out, all right, where can I force Brett Hahn into a mistake? Hahn says, well, if you're going to go by me, you're going to have to go on the inside. And that's exactly where Andrew Payne is trying to find the move. To the inside this time, Hahn on the extreme outside. They come off of turn number 2. Door to door down the back stretch. Brett Hahn really showing the muscle on the outside as they got lap traffic dead ahead. Harding bails out with 2 laps to go. Hahn showing the way, looking out the back. Here comes Andrew Payne down to the inside. Can he do anything with him? Hahn in the outside fence up off the corner. White flag is out. It's a dead heat. Side by side in the turns 1 and 2. Down the backstretch for the final time. Contact between the two of them. They work into turns 3. Andrew Payne down low. Hahn on the outside. Drag race to the line. It's going to be Brett Hahn picking up the win. Andrew Payne in second. Tim Rogers third as all hell breaks loose at the checkered flag. But it is the 71 of Brett Hahn going back to back, picking up the win with a margin of victory of 0.05 seconds. My, oh my. Let's watch that white flag lap one more time here. The white flag came out. You can see Andrew Payne to the inside, dead heat at the line. Around the outside, Brett Hahn knew he had to keep him there. Contact off of turn number 2. Into turn 3, Payne drives it in deep and had a good run at the line by just a half a car. Brett Hahn picks up the win over Andrew Payne. Somebody better check on Tim Rogers as he has made some heavy contact there on the front stretch. And just like that, we will head into our Premier Racing Setups post-race show in what was an exciting finish here this evening. And oh boy, are we going to have some excited drivers here this evening. All ready to go down here. And we are going to start with our third place finisher with a torn up and beaded race car, the number 48, Tim Rogers out of Binghamton. And Tim, you come home third, but your car looks a little torn up there at the end. Walk us through your race, buddy. You had a lot of action all around you all night long.
Yeah, it was quite the chaotic run we had. Nothing new. That feels like that's been the story of the season so far. Just been running into stuff, getting run into, but glad I finally was able to sneak it out, get a podium here at Bristol. I love this place. Just played that tire strategy right. Took 2, knew I could handle it. You know, pretty good on old tires. I knew I could get it done, and parts just, you know, everything just fell into place. Everything worked out. Here I am talking to you.
Yeah, it's good to be talking to you, especially with a sharp-looking ride, a brand-new ride, paint job on the race car. Maybe bringing some nice luck here this evening at Bristol. But the 2 tires versus 4 tires, we know that Andrew Payne and Brett Hahn both had 4 tires. What was the call from the top of the pit box to take 2 there?
Well, I got shuffled back earlier in the race because I think Devin doored me or something, and I fell all the way back, and then you couldn't really pass it all, and my right front was pretty much destroyed after that run. But in earlier runs we did in practice, we saw the left side tires weren't that affected, so I was like, you know what? I don't want to start back here, so I'm just going to take 2, came out of the pits, my left sides were at 92, 94. My right front after that run was at 54. So I only took rights and then was able to make it stick. If you were able to make it stick, the 2-tire call I think was really important just for track position.
Well, it was a great race all night long. We saw the multiple grooves come in. Talk about how hard is it to manage those outside runs when you're running side by side there. You got such a good launch up off the corner, and the closing rate looks extremely fast from up here inside the broadcast booth on the guys in front of you, especially when it's close. How hard is that to manage and kind of know where that front end is here? Because we know with the G-forces and how the banking is here, it doesn't make it always that easy to look around.
Yeah, it's definitely, that's ever since they reconfigured Bristol, that top line, that's always how it's been. You just get monstrous runs coming out of the corner off the top side. And I misjudged it once. I was going over for the crossover on Brian, and I hit him in the rear. I got him squirrely a bit, so that's my bad. But it's just a trick. Once you run enough laps here, you kind of get a feel for everything, how, where to judge that run and when to use it. But gosh, this car I think was set up to run the bottom, but it just chewed up the right front so much that the top side just came in later in runs.
Well, congratulations here on this one. I know we're off next week for the holiday break, and we wish you and your family a happy holiday season here. But who makes it all possible for this 48 to be on the podium here tonight at Bristol?
First off, just want to thank the sponsor, RogersCars.com. It's my company. I've had it on my cars before, but it's made a comeback for this race, and it's going to be here for the remainder of the season. Tanner Tallarico whipped up this paint, so thanks to him. Just want to thank Tanner also for putting on this show and dealing with all of our shenanigans. Brett and Nick for help with just help all around with how to drive these things, because I'm not really a short track. Well, I guess I've been doing it for 2 years now. I guess I am a virtual short track racer, but I just want to thank the guys who raced me clean and not hit me.
Congratulations, Tim. Enjoy the holiday break, and we'll see you at the races coming up here. I believe we are going to be headed to Gateway next, so we'll see you in 2 weeks' time on January 4th.
Alrighty, Al, have a good Christmas, man.
Thank you, appreciate it. That is Tim Rogers, the driver out of Binghamton, coming home in spot number 3. This man, well, put on a show for all of us. Comes up one spot shy. I won't even call it a spot. I'll call it a half a car length shy. It is the Dark Knight of Andrew Payne. And Andrew, thank you for making it exciting at the end there and doing it in such a clean way that had me out of my seat.
Yeah, that was one heck of a finish. I was telling Brett that I was trying to run him down after he went green and got clear, and as soon as I got to him, he went to the high side, and I knew it was gonna be really difficult to be able to pass him there, because high side on new tires is standard, sort of standardly the sort of dominant line. I know all night I ran the bottom, so I had no idea going up there with 10 to go, and it was a matter of getting to his bumper, and I didn't want to use my bumper at all against him. I haven't run a whole lot this season, and I know he's in a points battle right now, so I wanted to race him as clean as I possibly could, and we touched a couple times, and I sort of got that second groove in the high line to work, and then coming to the checkered flag, it sort of all broke loose, and we made the contact direct, and I'm glad we finished where we did, and we had quite a big gap back to third. But that was one heck of a race. It's nice to be back. Unfortunately, this is probably my last race of the season, just due to some scheduling things here in the new year. But glad I was able to put on a show like that and have some good old-fashioned short track racing.
Yeah, some good old-fashioned short track racing at the Last Great Colosseum, and I tell you, I was a little skeptical pulling into the place here this afternoon and getting set up for the broadcast, and just being at Bristol, it can either be really good racing, which which we always know ASRC puts on the best shows, but it can also get very messy in a quick matter of time just because of how fast you guys are with the speed here and all that. So what a show. I mean, what else did you need other than maybe Brett to make up a little bit mistake? It looked like you were able to roll the last few laps, roll the center and off a little bit better than that 71 car. Did you just need a little bit more time to get there and end up one spot higher, you think?
Possibly I could have probably used maybe 1 or 2 more laps, but I wish, and I'll give credit where credit is due. iRacing a couple weeks ago released a dynamic track, and it seems to work better on the ovals now. But I know this isn't the final. This is only the first stage of that. But I wish the bottom could compete just a little bit better with the high side, because you can run the bottom, but you can't really get the same drive off. And I don't know if that's just because they're the super late models, or if any of the other cars here would do the same thing. But just a little more drive off on the bottom would be nice. I don't want to use a bumper if I don't have to, and I think ultimately the only way I would have gotten around Brett is probably having to use a bumper, or hope he makes a mistake and gets the wall. But at that point in time, if I'm right behind him, I might be getting into his rear bumper anyways. And it's just those last few laps was sort of a game of inches. And I noticed he was going in a little deeper than I was, and I think that's like what you were talking about. I had a better setter off, and it worked. But it's really hard to make a pass when we're running the high side here. But at the same time, I could probably learn how to use the bottom in those situations a little bit better myself. So.
Well, either way, it was an exciting finish here at the end of this one, and like I said, congratulations on a second place finish. Sad to hear that this might be the last time we see the 93 in action this season with the Sunoco Super Late Model Invitational Series here, but who makes it all possible for the 93 to make the tow here to Bristol and end up on the podium?
Well, first and foremost, huge shout out to you, Al, and Turn 3 Racing. You guys put on some really phenomenal broadcasts, and going to be looking forward to going back and watching this one especially. Huge shout out to Tanner for putting on the series, putting on the league. I know I've been a little bit absent as of recent, but really glad to be able to come back and have some real fun. It was a blast to be here. Huge shout out to Sunoco for coming aboard this season. Huge shout out to all of our partners at ASRC. Without them, we would not, probably would not be in the situation that we're in right now after the few years that we've been around. Huge shout out to Reco Performance, QuickTime Motorsports Media, Home Metal Fab, Citrus Hot Sawn Mowing, VNH Fresh, Gossip Bus Lions. Huge shout out to both my parents and grandparents and supporting me for all my forms of racing. Huge shout out to all the fellow competitors, Brett, Tim, all of those guys that come out here and put on some really good shows. It's always a blast to come out here and run. And last but certainly not least, huge shout out to all the fans that come out and support us, the drivers, the leagues, the broadcast, all of you. It's really cool to be able to put on shows like this for you guys, and really appreciate your guys' support. And I guess one last thing too, I will actually be here for the big show in a couple weeks, so I guess this is not my last race, but I'll be here for the big show. Looking forward to that, and possibly we'll see how the rest of the season goes.
Sounds good. We look forward to that. And I know you're referring to the big Snowball Derby coming up January 6th and 7th. So we look forward to seeing that 93 out there, and probably in contention for maybe picking up that big trophy there. So we'll see you in a few weeks. Andrew, enjoy the holidays. Be safe, my friend, and we'll see you at the next one.
Yes, thank you. You too.
That's Andrew Payne coming home in spot number 2. And this driver, well, he is out of afterburner. The engine is smoking. The rear end is shifted out of it. But he is victorious for the second week in a row on the half-mile racetrack. It is none other, the only Brett the Jet Hahn. And Brett, man, had to start 18th here tonight. I didn't think you were going to be able to do it. And we had about 5 of those Tallarico Boardwalk Subs yellow flags this evening, and working your way up through the restarts, and you find yourself in victory lane. But man, walk us through those last few laps here with the battle with Andrew.
Yeah, Al, first and foremost, I got to ask you guys, are you guys not entertained? I mean, how about that finish? Almost exact same as, the Xfinity race, I think, 2 years ago now between the Dinger and I think it was Cendric. But man, Al, I can't believe that finish. I am pumped up about that to come home with a win and do it in dramatic fashion. And we'll start there. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah, I mean, just talk about the race, and Andrew's going to run you clean. He was really, and no disrespect or anything, but he was really the class of the field here tonight. Set fast time in qualifying, ran away in heat race number 1, and really had this race in control until that yellow flag where you guys all came down pit road. And that really shook up the field. You guys quickly carved back up through there. Was the mindset knowing that you had to get through the field quicker than he did to maybe have a shot at this one?
Oh, hands down, Al. As you said, Andrew was definitely the class of the field here tonight. He had a fast piece under him, out-qualified me, and then when he checked out in that long green flag run, I know that 93 car wanted that thing to go green to the end, but that's not how it worked out. And, we definitely had a little bit of lady luck on our side with that restart after the tires got to restart on the high lane after the inside lane didn't get rolling. And with how everything shook out, luckily no big ones that caught up the high lane, was able to get up to 4th very quick and then get out to the front row and then set sail. And yeah, Al, once we're out in front for that restart, got a great restart, but I saw that 93 catching me quickly in that mirror, and I said, all right, here's the game plan. The jet, hang down at this bottom as long as you can, save that right front, and I could already feel it start to go on the bottom side. So when Andrew got to me, I said, we got to protect that high side because he's going to have a tough time passing me low. And even made some mistakes, definitely wasn't as fast as Andrew even on the top side, but was able to hit my marks enough to end up just barely keeping Andrew behind me at bay, even with a little bit of trading some paint to the finish to just put on that extra icing on the cake, let's say, of an awesome win.
Yeah, I mean, that last battle there was the going to the outside, kind of like, all right, Andrew, you can have that whole bottom side of the racetrack. If you're going to get by me, you're just going to just flat out be better, right? At that point, was the mindset going into those? As soon as he got to you, didn't want to give him that outside?
Correct, Al. I learned pretty quick, especially carving up through the field. I tried to pass, I think it was Craig Tolley in the 5 or the 50 at one point early in the race, even after saving my stuff at the start because I knew I was going to start in the back and couldn't get the job done at the bottom. And then right when I went to the high side, I went flying around him. So I said, all right, I know the high side's definitely going to be where it's at, and that's where I knew I had to take it. As soon as Andrew got close to me, I knew I couldn't give him the momentum and let him go up high. So as soon as I saw him close into about 2 car lengths or so, I said, all right, we got to take away the line, head up top, and give Andrew as much as he wants, entry and in the middle. But corner off, I tried to keep a car length to the wall just to give myself a cushion, but also try and keep Andrew from getting that momentum to get clear of me if he could. And I think we did exactly what we needed to and put on a great race. And I tell you what, Al, that was awesome. I got to give props to Andrew with that thing.
Yeah, it was a great battle right to the end of this one. And we're off next week, but then a big week of racing for the American Sim Racing Club's Sunoco Super Late Model Invitational. We're going to be at Gateway out there in St. Louis. And then you guys are going to make the long trek there, just about in a few days. And you got the Snowball Derby coming up here. We won at 5 Flags 1 week ago. You won here at Bristol. Momentum on your side. Are you looking forward to an off week, or do you wish we were going to continue right on racing?
I'm actually kind of looking forward to an off week, Al. It gives me time to rest and recover because right now I actually have the COVID. So racing out here not at 100%, but laying it all on the line for the fans and for you watching and everyone else at home. So glad we could pick it up, not at 100%. So we're going to take some time, rest up, and get ready for that show, because I know we got a lot of hard hitters. It does help to have this momentum coming in to the show, with 2 wins under our belt now, but still doesn't mean we got to take it easy, let's say. Still going to be putting in the practice laps and making sure we bring our 100% game, because the big hitters will come out at a big invite show like that.
Definitely going to be one, Brett. Well, we wish you the best there. No wonder you pushed me away and took the mic from me here in Victory Lane there. Thank you for at least trying to keep me safe here from the COVID. We wish you well with that, and speedy recovery, and happy holidays to you, man. I hope you have a great Christmas coming up, and your family stays safe and all that. But who makes it all possible on this 71 here to be in the Victory Lane for the second week straight?
Yeah, Al, all the same key players that come in week in, week out and support us. We got Sunoco Race Fuels on with the series, doing an awesome job. Appreciate all their help. Have some of the best race fuel around. Of course, Boardwalk Subs, you don't like to see their banners too much in these races, as that means it's usually yellow flag, but they got some awesome subs. And I tell you what, if you're ever in the Michigan area and you want a good sub, be sure to check out Boardwalk. They have some awesome stuff. Of course, especially here tonight, I believe a Premier Race Setup's coming on board, so they're doing some awesome stuff on both dirt and pavement stuff with the open setup. So got to give them a huge shout out. They're coming on board here tonight. Of course, you, Al, and Turn 3 Racing Network here in the booth. I know you guys do always, of course, an awesome job, and can't wait to see what you got up in store, up your sleeve for these big shows. I know you guys always go all out for that, so can't wait to tune in there. Can't wait to rewatch this broadcast, as I'm sure, Al, we used up those vocal cords of yours towards the end of there. Of course, all the sponsors on the car. We got QuickTime Motorsports Media, Turn 3 on the car as well. RogersCars.com, got to give them a shout out. And Tim finishing third here tonight. All the RHU partners, Nick Fleury, Dave Payton, who sat this one on out here. So hopefully, Dave, you're watching and cheering us on. Who else we got on the car? Of course, the old man in the 7-Eleven machine. He had a pretty good run here tonight. So got to give a shout out to my dad, Eric. And, of course, Grammy tuning on in. We'll be seeing her for Christmas, so excited for that. Got a lot of chatting to do with her, especially about the sim racing. The girlfriend, Jessie, tuning on in, and all the other Brett the Jet fans cheering on the B71 Jet. As I tell you what, 2 in a row feels really good. Got to, of course, give a huge shout-out for Andrew there, not giving me the bumper and, making that race not as fun as that. And, of course, Tanner Talarico putting on the show and all the other admins. Al, I tell you what, this was an awesome race. You don't see this very often on iRacing, the caliber of drivers in this race. And that finish, I mean, holy smokes.
Yeah, it's going to be one that people are going to talk about, and we're going to go back and rewatch that one for sure, Brett. Well, we wish you the best. Have a good, safe holiday, buddy. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time when we're at Gateway there at the Worldwide Tech Raceway. Until then, buddy, keep it safe, keep it wheels down. I'm sure we'll be chatting.
All right, sounds good, Al. All the other people, have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. We'll catch you on the flip side, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.
There you go, Brett the Jet Hahn, ripping by the tower here this evening after his win at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Only one thing left to do, and that is to go through tonight's finishing results for tonight's race, and it is going to be Brett Hahn picking up the win over Andrew Payne. Tim Rogers will come home third. Scott Negis will roll fourth. Nick Fleury fifth. Craig Tully, Noah Boucher, Zach Coyer, Devin McDonald, and Papa Eric Hahn will finish 10th. Caleb Mojeski 11th. John DeMeester 12th. Andrew Hardings will finish 13th. Brian Wildasson, Braden Cook, Chris Roma, Justin Callahan, and Charles Darling will round out your running order. For the final time in 2023, we will sign off here for the American Sim Racing Club's Sunoco Late Model Invitational, and it was all brought to you by Sunoco. Tallarico's Boardwalk Subs, Jersey-style soup, subs, and salad serving West Michigan. Premier Racing Setups, whether you want to be in victory lane or be chasing someone that's in victory lane, they are on Premier Racing Setups. And LaPlante Racing Products. We thank them for being all presenting sponsors for the American Sim Racing Club right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. As always, my name is Upstate Al. It's been a pleasure serving you in 23. We will see you on air in 2024 when we are at the Worldwide Raceway Technology here in St. Louis. But until then, everybody, we'll see you in Turn 3. Have a safe and happy New Year's and Merry Christmas. Good night, everybody.